So guys, welcome to the Patrick McGibney Podcast. I'm sitting here with my colleague, Ryan Horgan. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's a pleasure. I hope we're going to have some fun today. Ryan and I met at tennis, actually. We're going to talk about that, obviously. He's my tennis coach, for everybody who doesn't know, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that as well. Maybe short wrap up who Ryan is. He's, of course, free to add and correct. Born and raised in the UK. Started tennis at the age of 9. He was a top 20 junior under 18. Tried to go pro and then went to coaching straight at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Moved to Cyprus at 23 by himself and just planned actually to be here a year, but ended up having a family. That's the story. Yeah? He coached all over the island. He did some businesses, went to YouTube a couple of years ago, and last 6 months kick off his YouTube channel and started working with Iman Gadzhi, and starting online coaching. I think we have some topics to cover. Is that a good wrap up from your side? Anything to add?
No, that sounds good. Good bird's eye view. Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, then let's dive right into it. So first general question we always have, besides, thank you for being here. How did you end up in Cyprus? Let's start there. You came here when you were at 23 years old from the UK. What's the story behind? Why did you come here?
Yeah, so I was just under a year into coaching full time in the UK. I just finished trying to go pro. And I was doing a little bit of work, like once, twice a week for a coach over in England. And literally, it was so random, honestly, so random. I was Sunday morning, hungover, and I get a call from this guy. He's straight to the point. He's like, listen, would you be interested in 1 year in Cyprus? Go work and coach in Cyprus. I was like, where's Cyprus? I didn't even know where it was, man. I was like, what the hell is that? He's like, blah, blah, it's over here. Okay. I was like, oh, let's see what they got to say. He's like, it's a good offer. What we're going to do, we're going to fly you out in 3 days. We're going to go to the club. We're going to feel it out, see the offer, and let's see what happens. And so I was like, okay, let's see what goes on. And that was it. That was literally it. It was the most random thing ever. And it was like I said, it was meant to be 1 year. Yeah. It was a 1 year thing. I came out, really liked the place immediately. The terms were good for me at the time. Do 1 year. That was my mindset. Do 1 year. Looks great on the CV. Come out here, head coach, work with Davis Cup players, come back to the UK. Cool. But like I said, after a few months, the usual story, you meet a woman and that's it. They kind of like hook you in and keep you in.
That's how it goes. It goes. And where were you coaching, like when you came here? Where was it?
So it was Larnaca Tennis Club. Yeah, it was Larnaca Club, which was the old Larnaca Club. So they just moved. Yeah. I don't know if you've been to the new one. Yeah. So new one's amazing. It's probably the best place in Larnaca now, in the whole of Cyprus. Yeah. But initially it was really like old school, quite run down. The courts were pretty bad. But it had a character to it. I mean, I fell in love with it straight away. Nice. Yeah, so I was like, I want to work here.
That's awesome. So everybody has a good story how to come here. And then you were coaching Davis Cup players from Cyprus, or?
Yeah, so I immediately thrown in at the deep end. I was working with a guy called Sergis. Man, even 13 years, man. The last names are like Kiriatis, the last name. I'm gonna butcher that one. Yeah, he was number 2 behind Marcus Baghdadis at the time. Really, yeah? So Marcus was number 1, and he was still top 50 in the world at the time. So I was thrown in with him. I wasn't ready. I was too inexperienced. I didn't know what was going on. I was a little bit like in at the deep end. But yeah, working with him and a couple of other guys that were working with the team at the time. It's a good experience, man.
I bet. Yeah. How was the level? Like, if they're top 50 in the world?
So Marcus was top 50 at the time. So he'd been 8 in the world. So he was 8 in the world back in 2006.
Yeah, well, that's pretty high.
When I came, he was around top 50.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But Sergis wasn't ranked at the time, but his level was top 500 easy. Yeah, and he was 17. Oh. Yeah, it was like, I remember hitting with him for the first time. I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, I remember thinking like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Like, at 23, like all I cared about was going out, and I wasn't really focused on coaching at the time. But yeah, it was, I had to level up quickly.
Yeah.
I had to level up. So that was,
Did it work?
Experience. Depends how you, depends what you would say by did it work. The Larnaca experience, oh man, I could talk for 2 hours on the Larnaca experience. I would say, objectively, if you're looking from the outside, from a tennis perspective, I would say no. But from my own development, yes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, playing with such great players, I mean, you're leveling up, right? Just playing with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, because you already said you went when you started playing tennis was like age 9.
Yeah,
so
9.
Then you were top 30, 20 under 18.
So 9's pretty late. If you want to be pro,
it's really late.
9's pretty late, man. So I was always catch up. Really, I was always catch up, and then once I got to 17, so I got to number 17 under 18s in the UK. Wow. And I was beating a couple of guys in the top 10. I was doing what I felt like I was always on I was always on the way up. I was always catching those guys pretty quick. And yeah, so that was good. I remember at the time thinking I should have been better, you know. When I finished stop playing, I should have been better, and maybe I should have been, but when I look back, starting at 9, didn't have a private lesson until I was like 12.
Crazy.
So I was kind of. I look back now, like kind of proud of like what I did, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. How do we know anybody like who was back then in the top 10 in the UK?
Andy Murray, man.
He was there.
Andy Murray, yeah. So he was 1 year older, and so he was always the guy. Fuck. He was always the guy everyone looked up to. Like
crazy.
Wow, that's
you played against him?
No. I never played. I played 2 tournaments where he was in the draw, and even back then everyone looked at him like a god, you know. Yeah, like because he was always the best. Yeah, he was always miles ahead of everyone. Everyone knew that he was going to make it to the top. I actually played. I'm trying to think of the best player I played, probably Marcus Willis. So Marcus Willis played Federer at Wimbledon, second round of Wimbledon on centre court. Yeah, he actually got there. We had a good scrap actually. We had a free set battle back in the under 18s. Fuck. But he was like this fat kid, right? Man, he was this fat kid. He'd eat McDonald's like 1 hour before his match. He'd look awful. His technique was terrible. He wasn't an athlete, but he'd just come out and he just
somehow,
man, you looked at him, if you never knew who he was, and you step on the court, you go, this is the easiest match of my life. And then after 5 minutes, you realize, what the hell is this guy? This guy's just pushing the ball like in the corners on the lines all the time. It was scary.
Crazy.
Yeah, he was like nearly top 300 or something. Yeah.
Wow. Well, if he played Federer at Wimbledon, that's pretty good.
He was taking games of Federer.
How did you win against him?
No, we went 3 sets. I won the first set, and then so my strength was my serve. I had a big serve. Yeah. And my first serve, he couldn't get on if and off my first serve, and then the next 2, I just I wasn't quite there with the serve, and he just picked me off, man. He just picked me off. It's too good.
It's great memories, though.
Yeah, that was good.
And compare that level now, training guys in Cyprus, like the.
Yeah, obviously the level. It's a big jump. It's a big jump. You know, the UK, you got like 10,000 juniors playing. You know, in Cyprus, I don't know. It's not even. Maybe 500 or something. It's barely anything. But considering the size of Cyprus, they're doing unbelievable. Yeah. They're incredible. The players that produce in their level, they produced another guy who was top 500, Pedros Koutsouhos. They're actually doing really, really well. Yeah. Really well.
Tennis is quite big here, right?
It's huge. Probably after football is the second most popular. But that's the Marcus effect. That's the Baghdadis effect. Yeah. You know, you got a guy who makes a Grand Slam final, which again is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's true.
And that we're still feeling the ripple effects of that, I think.
When was that?
2006. Australian Open. He faced Federer in the final Australian Open. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
It was amazing. To think back, like at the time, I didn't appreciate it because
no, you don't know.
I was 17.
Yeah. We were just talking about 17-year-olds, right? Yeah, what's going like through their head?
You're clueless, but you think you know everything, right?
Yeah, you know everything, of course.
But yeah, I like I said, I didn't know West Cyprus. Everyone, the commentators, this guy's from Cyprus, blah blah blah. Over my head, didn't know. But it's unbelievable to think that a Cypriot guy has made a Grand Slam final.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's a small island, but they produce some good athletes, right? They got some good fighters as well. Got a UFC fighter, some Muay Thai fighters, like really popular, fighting for the titles, for the world titles.
Yeah.
So small place, but it's crowded when it comes to athletes. Yeah.
They're genetically gifted. They're good athletes, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're good athletes.
I would say so. Yeah.
Have you heard about the rugby record?
No.
I don't know if it's still the case.
No, I don't know.
So they started a rugby team, the Cypriot rugby team.
Really?
At one time, they held the most consecutive wins at international level.
No way, yeah.
Yeah, like you can Google this right now. At one time, they held the record of the most wins or something like that when they started.
Really?
But they're just like, you see it, it's a beach culture.
Yeah.
They got the Greek genes.
Yeah. True.
They are, yeah. Any culture that has the outdoor culture, the weather and everything else, they tend to be
more athletic, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's
us,
interesting.
us Brits and us Germans, mind you, the Germans obviously with football.
Yeah, they love it. But the tennis in the UK is quite big, right?
Tennis big, very big, yeah.
As big as football?
No. But tennis number 2, solid number 2.
2.
Golf, it's debatable with golf, but
really, yeah.
Yeah,
golf,
it's I would say it's a solid 2. Yeah.
We got some good players there, that's for sure. Yeah. I watched Point Break recently, so that was interesting to see on Netflix.
It's a good documentary.
Yeah, it's a good documentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, retrospectively, if you look back on your own career, do you think now would you say I could have done this better? I should have sticked more, put more effort into it,
Yeah, 100%. I think every athlete, everyone says they always could do better. Looking back, I even heard Andy Murray talk about this. He was like, I would have changed this and that.
Yeah.
The guy did everything in the game. I would have done more.
Yeah.
So for example, the night, 2 nights before the biggest match of my life. So to get your first,
you were going out.
I went out.
Yeah.
I went out.
Yeah.
I told you this,
no,
right?
tell it. That's a good story.
So a big thing at my level, because I knew up until 18, 19, I wasn't going to be at the top, right? So the big thing at that level is your first world ranking to get your first points. So you have 3 levels of professional. You have a futures level, challengers, and then what you see on TV, ATP. Yeah. So you got to do futures. Yeah. So you got to get through qualifying on futures, 3 matches, and then 1 match in the main draw.
Oh, okay.
And even in the qualifying, there's well-ranked players. It's a very good level. So for the first time, I got through qualifying, and this was in Ireland, in Dublin. And I got through qualifying 3 matches, and I got the main draw, and I had to wait a day. And the guy that I traveled with, another English guy, he got to the last round of qualies, and he lost. And he had match point, and he lost. Got super unlucky. And he was like, I'm going out, I'm getting pissed drunk and everything. Come with me. I was like, look, I'll go for 1 drink, I'll get a cab home. I got my match in 2 days, biggest match of my life. Cut long story short, I was wasted at 4 a.m.
Oh, no.
I was wasted, chasing some Irish skirt, idiot, man. Just stuff like that. Just crazy. I think I knew I wasn't going to achieve my dream, so I just sort of self-sabotaging. Yeah. It's easy to say. It's easy to say I could have been this, I could have done that.
It's difficult.
And I took that approach subconsciously and just sabotaged myself. But who knows?
But did you play good or bad because of going out? Because sometimes you play even better.
Yeah, sometimes you play. No, I didn't play well. I played a guy like 900 odd in the world. I didn't play well.
No?
I didn't play well. I was nervous as well. Yeah. I didn't play well.
And that was the decision going into coaching then, or was that this one-time opportunity getting the call and you're going to Cyprus? Or?
I had no choice, man. Yeah. I was even back at school, 13, 14.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm either going to be a professional player or I'm going to be a coach. There's nothing else. I don't know anything else. I hated school. Yeah. I wasn't stupid or anything like that, but I just hated it. Yeah. I was like, this is pointless for me. It's not going to matter. So I didn't care. I didn't try. I didn't study. Yeah. I left school at 16 to go full time. Tried to go pro. No. Okay. Let's go. Let's be a coach. Because it's a good occupation.
Definitely.
You can earn some decent money. You can be comfortable. Yeah. It's hard work. It's hard physically, mentally, but you can earn good money from it. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's good. I mean, coaching is fun. Definitely. Tennis coaching. Or
depends who you have, man. Yeah. If I got you as a student, Jesus Christ. Hard work.
Yeah, it's the easiest. I mean, if we started, I would say 2-3 years ago, we could make the top 100, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Seniors in Wimbledon in a couple of months.
Yeah, that's cool though, because I have similar stories when it comes to hockey, right? I don't know if it doesn't matter if I told you, right?
Yeah.
Because I also tried to go pro, went pro actually, but at the end didn't make it. And played in Germany, and then went to Canada, played there. That's actually a good story, because I played in Germany in the youth league. It was the youth league that Germany has, the highest youth league. So, and then because my dad was still playing pro back then, I had the opportunity to go to the pro team every now and then, train with them, was invited. It was pretty cool because it's quite unique that you play on one team with your dad, and he was still playing professionally. He held the Guinness World Record back then as the oldest player ever in Europe playing professional hockey.
Really?
Yeah, he was 46, and he played in Cologne in front of 18,000, and he broke the world record then. And then he became Athlete of the Year in Germany in 2007, it must have been, or seven it was. And and then like camera teams from TV came to our home, because it was a big thing, really a big thing. That year as well, then I was starting to train with the pro team. I was hyped as fuck. I was 17. Weirdest thing was that I realized I had to take a shower with my dad though. At that age, I was always like, "What the fuck? Oh, that's weird," and everybody was making jokes about it. And then we also that team was second Bundesliga, so second league in Germany. And then that year we went up to the first league, so we won all the playoffs, won the playoff round. The finals, and then went up. So that was pretty cool, the experience. My dad was on the team. I was there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was really cool. One of the best memories.
Was like so proud, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just to experience the whole thing. I mean, there were really good players on that team. And yeah, it was unique. And there was a time when I also had my high school degree and everything. So I remember that. And then I went to Canada, and that was quite spontaneous, and usually you get invited to go to the training camps and everything. So I just went there in the summer. So I'm going to Canada now. It was in my head all the time, but I just said I'll do it. And then I just went straight to one of the teams, and that's one of the best leagues you can play in Canada, like in the whole world. And I just said, I'm here for training. And they said, you need to be invited, man. It's like, you can just come here. It's like, I just came here, so let's do it. And I was like, everybody was like, fuck, let them train, right? So, and that was, you needed to make the cut. So that was when the roster was pretty full. So they need to have, disqualify everybody who doesn't make it. So I remember the first training session in Canada, and that was pro level then. I ate a lasagna at lunch. I will never forget it, because it came out pretty fast at training. So the whole training was simply sprints. It was no water. I remember they took the water, put it on the bench. It's like, you can look at it, but you'll not get it. It was like 2 hours straight sprinting. So who's going to give up is going to get out. Right. Didn't give up. I puked on the ice, ate snow just for water. But pushed through, and I made the team. That was a big thing, because there were incredible players on that team later, playing NHL and stuff. That was pretty cool. So I did that for a while there, and then I came back and tried to go pro in Germany, but didn't work. Didn't work.
How long were you at the team there?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. It was fucking fun. That was really fun. That was one. There was one player. He's one of the best in that generation. I mean, and I then played with him as well. He was called Doughty. He was a defenseman. He won everything that you can win more than once. So he's one of the best defensemen probably ever played that game now. Still playing. And he was like that type of guy. In that level, that was just shocking. Like, everybody was so much better. But this guy was like a god. He just said, I'll score 5 goals today. He just scored 5 goals, and the level was so good. So I was amazed how many levels of, are in between that. So that's probably similar to the tennis world, right? It's shocking if you can see, like, that's the level you need to play, because you don't see it on TV. It looks different. If you see people playing, if you play the game once yourself, or like really dedicated time into it, and then you see the actual pro level or the top level. It's a different world sometimes. You wonder where the people, where they're produced.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like I see it. Like you said, the TV doesn't do it justice.
No,
not even close. Not even a smidgen. Like, even for someone who knows the game, doesn't do it justice. Yeah. Let alone people who don't know the game. They're just spectators or watch it. Yeah. And then you go. Like, I remember the first time going to Wimbledon live.
That must be amazing. Huh?
Like, what
so good.
I watched Nadal practice. I never watched Nadal live, but I watched him practice, and he was going flat out. Like, what? I was like, what is this? Like, what the fuck? I was thinking, like, well, just to stop,
Yeah.
It didn't inspire me. I was like, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. What am I doing? Just go do something else in my life. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
so good, yeah.
Did you ever feel like that? Like, you just like,
definitely.
What am I doing?
That training session, I remember, because just warming up, I was like, what the hell are they? I mean, I played with the pros there in Germany, but those guys are like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, some of them are so fucking good. I was like, how am I gonna make it? So in my head really was like, I don't have the skill. All I can do is I will not give up. That I knew back then. That's the only thing I can do. And I made the team and didn't play much, but I played in front of 18,000 as well, like playoffs and everything. It was a really, really cool experience. So, yeah, that was cool. But they were so good. Fuck, they were so good.
Yeah, that's another level.
I thought I was like coming back to Germany. I was like so good as well. I mean, I was so much better than before. And I think that was also an ego thing back then. Like, then you come here, you think in Germany, it's no problem, you're gonna make it, no problem, blah blah blah. I'm the best. So that it was, stupidity. No? As a teenager, young adult, then that was definitely my way. I remember.
Yeah. What was the training like? Like, how many hours a day was that?
In Canada?
Yeah.
In Canada, you definitely train once or twice a day.
On the ice.
Yeah, on the ice. Sometimes 3 times.
Yeah.
Plus, or in combination with strength training. The summer camp is completely different. You're on the ice, but you're also outside. I hated that. Because you're just running up hills and all that shit. Right? Literally summer camp, that killed me. It's fucking hot where I was in Canada. It's like not as hot as in Cyprus, but it was killing. Yeah. So as long as you're on the ice, you could cool a little bit off. But yeah, you train 2-3 times in the summer camp, and during season 1 time a day. You have a lot of games. You really have 2-3 days game, 2-3 days game, and you travel quite a lot. So.
Okay.
You have like 80 games in a season.
So you're not training too much. You're just like
during the season, you are more like maintaining. It's the summer work that puts you ahead. There is like that's the killer. That's the killer.
Similar to is it a lot more strength or power?
Power. Explosiveness.
But like also like must be a lot of speed endurance stuff as well. You're just going like constantly.
Because you're sprinting, right? A shift in hockey is like half a minute, something like that. Then you're going off. Resting, so half a minute.
Because you have the subs. You can go off
3 or 4 lines, and you're substituting. Yeah. If you're on the first line, you're playing a lot more. Second line, third line, fourth line. Sometimes you're not playing at all. Mm-hmm. But you're substituting. So if you're going in, you're giving 110%, right? Yeah, really 110. So everything you do is full capacity. So that's how you train. It's not like being really strong or something like that. Because some guys are quite chubby, right? And I was super slim back then. So I had the problem gaining weight because I was burning too much. It was really was different. Some of those guys, I don't know what they took when they were younger, but definitely something, because it was not possible. How can you look like that with 17? I was like, come on, you're like 120 kilos muscles. Yeah. You're 17. Yeah. What the fuck is going on, right? But you have these type of people. How about in tennis? Is that like what kind of training? I mean, but back then, like what kind of training did you do? A lot of gym stuff or also explosiveness or?
You know, when I was training, especially like under 18s, no one was in the gym back then, man. No one was in the gym. I remember I was one of the first guys in the gym.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had the reputation like one of the most jacked players.
Well, that's a good reputation.
On the British tour, like. And because it just kind of wasn't a thing. There was still, when I was growing up, there was still the idea that if you went to the gym before the age of 16, it stunts your growth.
Yeah.
So there was still that crossover
still,
there, right? So no one did it before the age of 16. And no one really took it that seriously. It was like, just go and play loads of tennis.
Yeah.
Now it's
different.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Now you're 9 years of age. I've seen 9-year-olds, you know, they've got personal trainers and stuff and doing all this stuff, which is actually is not the best as well. Like, it's not the
that's
best
too
in
young.
my opinion. Yeah. It's kind of, it depends what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of that's like the focus on traditional strength and conditioning when you're 9.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly pointless in my opinion. But at the professionals now, yeah, there's a hell of a lot. It's again, it depends because they're traveling so much, playing so many tournaments. A lot of it is just maintaining.
Yeah,
they got the off season. They got a couple of like off season. You've got the main off season. Then you've got some break. They can manage their tournaments, and they got a training block, and they get some strength and stuff in. But yeah, very much focused on power, more power. Everything's done with speed.
Yeah,
and endurance. Yeah, speed endurance is massive. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's not so you don't need to build as much muscle as you do in other sports.
No, you don't need to, but it depends what type of player you are as well. Like Djokovic, right? Djokovic, super skinny, best player ever. His technique is that little bit more wiry, you know, so he doesn't need it. But then someone like Murray would need a little bit more bulk on him, and
was quite
Nadal was quite bulky. And then of course you can get the bait of steroids and stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's everywhere. Yeah.
That's big.
But it's interesting, right? Because back then, in a lot of sports, like gym was still not on the menu, right? I think still in football, like the way they train looks like we trained in hockey like 10 years ago.
Football's miles behind, man.
Yeah, football's behind.
Still, even to this day, they're ancient, man. I don't know what is going on there.
Why is that so?
Man, I don't know because I'm not in the field, but I've seen it, and they're them. It's weird, man. They're miles behind in the way they
doing super weird training.
Yeah, the way they train, the periodization, everything else. It's a bit odd. Yeah.
Like supplements, still something they're not like. They're still far behind of those things. Yeah? Like it's weird because I mean you drink amino drinks or whatever 10, 15 years ago in other sports, right? Look at NFL and stuff. But in soccer, you're still seeing them drinking whatever, plain water, right, during the game. And then they're all cramping up after 60 minutes.
Yeah, like it's odd, man. It's odd. It is a little bit odd before. I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe that's just the culture thing behind the history. Yeah.
Definitely a culture thing.
Yeah, that's super interesting. When looking at tennis and other sports, how do we get here? I'm just
went off on a tangent.
I'm just thinking. We were comparing other stories as well. But okay, but now you ended up coaching in Cyprus. You're still here, so that's mainly because of your missus. Still here, yeah. She was the main reason, right? She's Cypriot. She's Cypriot, half Cypriot, half Swedish, but she grew up here. I met her after like 3.5 months. I was having a rough time. Yeah. I was on my own. You know, I'm a pretty shy guy. Wasn't meeting anyone. I was just going to work, come home, do nothing. Yeah. And then met her. That was it. Nice. Fell pretty deep pretty quickly, and ever since here. That's it. Yeah. No family growing. No. Or say again. How big is the family now? So we've got 2 boys. 2 boys. 2 boys, 5 and 2. And some addition, or that's it? No. Yeah. Oh man, no. If we do a round 2, then there's another one. Then it's a mistake. No plans. That's good. And your plan is to stay here? Yeah, I think so. I think we'll stay here. It's a good place to raise kids. Yeah. Safe place. Just I really enjoy it. It suits me as well. Yeah, I have no plans to move abroad or go anywhere else at the moment. Yeah. Are you going to the UK like any now and then? Family? Last time I went was 6 years ago. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
the time.
But
But
family is there? Or?
families there, they come here. Like
Yeah.
it's like, well, I go there or they come here. They're like, oh, we'll go here.
Yeah,
We'll
it
come
makes
here
more
and
sense.
have a holiday and
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Same.
So
Same here.
I don't enjoy going back anymore.
No.
UK is just
Why? What's wrong with UK?
which where to start, man? Where to start? Jesus Christ! I just don't enjoy it, man. There's nothing I miss. It goes from the weather.
Yeah.
I don't like say the people, but like the general like vibe you get from people. They're very like they're just low vibration, miserable, no surprise, inflation, crime, blah blah blah. Yeah. It's I don't miss any of it. The only thing is obviously friends and whatnot.
Friends and family. Yeah.
There's a few more things to do socially. There's more options, of course, but
Do you miss anything from that here? Really?
nah, not really.
No.
Not really.
Same how I feel about Germany.
Yeah, so I just don't want to go back. Yeah,
Nothing that I miss. We were just talking before, right? I was on the weekend. I was in Germany.
Yeah.
And I really had the feeling of not being home. Like
Yeah.
super weird
Yeah.
feeling. I was like, okay, home is can also say Canada, but I lived most of my life definitely in Germany. Coming back there on the weekend, it was the first time this year in 2024. I haven't been there since Christmas and I'm going again this week, but that's it. Super weird. Didn't feel good. Like super rude. People at the airport and everything started there. Here, you go to the airport, everybody's friendly, everything's working fine. Straight back to Berlin, I was like, what is this? What's happening? Yeah, it's weird, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not good actually. I mean,
Have you always had that felt? Did you feel like quite patriotic? Like
no, not really. I still feel patriotic about Canada. I really like going there, but it's been forever since I've been there. Just too so long. I want to go back maybe next year. Let's see. But Germany, I was always disliking it more and more. I think when I started my first businesses, you kind of started to realize something is not working. And years to come, and at some point, I mean, it was just enough. And now being away for such a long time, I really realized how bad it was. Not only for a businessman, but also privately. I was like, we were in Berlin, one of the biggest cities in the world, right? I really enjoyed it. I see my friends. I stayed over at my friend's apartment downtown Berlin, and then going out for a bachelor party. It was weird. I was thinking sometimes like, what would I do if I lived here? Like, I would not like. Where's the beach? What can you do? Like, and so many people. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable. It's just how it is. I didn't feel comfortable.
You can't go back, man. When you come from that environment and you come somewhere like here and you enjoy it here. Yeah. There's no going back,
right?
There's no going back.
No.
Yeah, it's too.
Yeah, I was really trying to imagine, what if I live here? Like, how would my life be? I was trying to think, what would I do the whole day except of sitting at home and working? Like, what would you do on the weekends? Like, and I'm like, I don't go into the theater or something. That's not me. Like, that's no way. So I'm staying at home then. So it's what you said before. Once you leave, you don't want to come back, or everybody you talk to, especially people from Germany or also UK, the people who moved away, they're really like, they're negative about their home countries. And it's sad at some point, right? Because things are going south, and of course media and everybody is not really reporting about that. But fuck, I can only speak for Germany. I haven't been to the UK for a long time, but I mean, I said Berlin. Oh my goodness! I mean, it's dangerous there, and I'm saying that as I can defend myself, but I going out, I was feeling I have to watch out to who am I bumping into. Like, I was ready the whole time, and there were people with knives that I saw, and like taking drugs on the street. Police is walking by. It's like there's no rules. Like, you could just stab someone, nobody would notice in the middle of Berlin. Like, super crazy. Having kids there, I'd be worried as fuck. No Germans. There's no German culture. Every store is everything else but not German. So, and you see the old German people, they're living in small, tiny apartments. Like you could see barely making ends meet. Super weird. What's going on there? I don't know. Is it the same in the
Mate,
UK?
you could just slap England on that. It's very similar. I know, and the funny thing is, I talk to my friends. I'm like, you got to get out, blah blah. It's like a helplessness feeling to them. They like they have no belief that they can get out. Oh, I need money to go, and I need this amount, and I can't do this because of this. It's like, but you can. You can. You don't even need. Don't really need that much money. I mean, a couple of friends that have them made decent money. You know, like they have a decent amount of savings. They could just pack up, come start somewhere else, no problem, no issue. But in their mind, it's like, no.
Why do you think that is? Their mindset?
Yeah, you. I remember being there. You feel like, I don't know, a bubble.
Yeah, it's a bubble.
You feel like England as well. You get this idea that England's one of the best places to live, best countries, like, you know, superpower. You know, everyone's coming in, London, blah blah blah. It's, you know, this is where you need to be. And it's, you can't see outside of it. You just, you know, and if you don't, and especially when people travel, English people, I don't know what German people are like, but English people, when they travel, they go to the English pubs and the English places and they stick to the, so again, they don't venture out. Then they don't try the different cultures and open their minds a little bit, you know? So they can't, it's like they can't fathom it. They can't see out beyond that.
Yeah, it's the bubble. It's the same in Germany. They're in the bubble, and because it's a great country, everything's, you know, has been one of the best countries in the world. Everybody's safe and everything. Nothing can happen to you, but it's not the truth, right? It's not. It's just they're brainwashed at some point, right? It's really brainwashed. I mean, yeah, you can have a good job and everything, but you can see what happened in the last years. I mean, big companies are letting people off, thousands of them, right? So that's not always safe. Yeah, I mean, so that's a false security, I think, and they're getting more and more people in the countries as well. I mean, at some point, the bubble will burst, I guess. So,
which isn't far away.
Not far away at all. Not far away at all. Yeah, but I think people who have never left their home country, I think that's those who can't even imagine that there is something else. Like even part of my German family, they could never get them out. Like my grandparents, and they have been to the whole world, but still that the center of the world is where they live, right?
That's as good as it gets.
As good as it gets. My grandpa in Germany, he's still asking me if I will eventually ever work at Volkswagen, because that's the end goal, right? That's the end goal. Sometimes I get stories that he's still telling some people, he's working
on the way
at Volkswagen now. So finally you will make it. It's super weird. Because that's the center of the universe. You can't blame someone.
That's it. That's it, man. That's how you think, man. That's how you think when you're in it. So it's hard. It's hard to, like, you talk to them from the outside. You just, I don't know, it's hard to sell it. Hard to sell that idea of moving away.
Why do you think you were able to do so?
I think tennis helped, because tennis you have to travel a lot, right? So I had to travel all over the world to play tournaments and stuff. So already you get that exposure. So that was a big thing. I think I would say that's number one. You could say my roots, my upbringing or whatever, but that's probably number one. I got to see the rest of the world.
Do you have brothers or sisters?
A younger brother and younger sister.
What are they doing? Are they in the UK?
My sister's traveling right now. She's all over the world. That's a big thing, travel. So she's just traveling.
Really?
She's just traveling all over. Right now she's in Thailand with her boyfriend. Wow. My brother is he's an actor / like writer, director. He's doing some stuff, and again he's traveling.
Really?
He's got a van, and he's traveling all over Europe right now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're like half Irish. We got some like pikey. Do you know what pikeys are? Yeah, so we got like pikey blood. Yeah. So that traveler thing. So, that's another aspect.
Like the Furies.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Gypsy. We're gypsies. At heart, we're gypsies. We've got no problem traveling around.
Yeah, that's cool. I think my roots go to Scotland. My dad always, because my grandpa was British. He was fighting for the British Army. Yeah. And I think he ended up in Canada because of the war. Then he met my grandma. That's how we ended up in Canada. But originally it's actually UK as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
So everybody is traveling. So that's interesting. My brother is in Germany. I think he will stay there, even though my parents are now about to move here finally. So I'm looking forward to having them here. There's also for my dad, it's absolutely no problem because he already changed his, moved from Canada to Germany. So he's ready. He's sitting. As I said, if he spends one more winter in Germany, it's gonna be somebody's gonna get killed there, and literally. And my mom, I think, she lived in Canada for a long time as well, but I think she has a little bit more of this. Now, eventually, really selling the house, like that's and leaving her parents, now there. That's I can see it's a big thing for her. It's not as easy to say, let's go. She wants, but leaving something behind. Also, my brother leaving him behind. I understand that's not so easy.
Maybe here.
My brother?
Maybe here. All the guys.
Well, I wouldn't mind. It's up to him. It's up to him, right? You can't force someone. Let's see what happens.
That would be cool, man.
But it's interesting how a little bit exposure, as you say, maybe in the younger years changes the perspective. Because I remember that was also my idea, moving from Canada back to Germany, going back to Canada sometimes. Being in Germany, I always had I need to go back to Canada. Whatever, I need to go back to Canada. That was my number one dream when I was younger. So it didn't matter what. So I could combine it very well with hockey and family and everything. But it was good times. And I think that opens a lot of perspective. As you see in the younger age already, the outside world a little bit, that shows you there's more than just this home base, right?
Yeah. And not just holidays, right? Literally going off, traveling. You have to travel by yourself, sort yourself out.
Yeah,
flights,
yourself.
hotels, and I was 17, traveling to 16, traveling to Australia or New Zealand and fucking Africa or whatever it was. Yeah.
That's completely different. You're on your own, but it's tough. I remember my first shopping when I was in Canada, going shopping for yourself. All I knew from my mom always was. Going, these weekly shopping tours, buy a whole bunch of stuff, right? So I ended up doing exactly that without knowing.
Just throwing shit.
And then I can't cook. Why I bought that? So I bought all the mom stuff. So that was super funny. I remember that.
You learn quick, man.
You learn quick. God bless. There's frozen pizzas back then. That made the job. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, but then. Reverting back, now you came here for the coaching, tried to go pro, ended up meeting your missus, starting a family. What happened in those years? It's a big stretch till now.
So I think after a couple of years, I realized, I don't want to do tennis coaching. That's not my long-term thing.
Yeah.
And as I say this, you're like my client right now. So you're going to know, I'm going to sit there and be hating tennis coaching. No, I just realized I don't think long term, this is not what I want to do. I thought I was going to love it. Yeah. Because I love playing. Yeah. Love training. I love everything about playing. And then I thought I just love coaching because it's tennis. But it wasn't the case. Yeah. And, working for someone else. And I just didn't, I thought this isn't for me. Didn't want to do it. So I was like, okay, so how do you go about this? I want to get out of this. I want to try something else. I want to work for myself. So I tried a couple of things. I think one of the first things was I wanted to do a summer camp, actually, international summer camp.
For what?
For an international sports and language camp.
Nice.
Because I went to work abroad in one. Yeah. And I was like, this will be amazing in Cyprus. It'll be absolutely amazing. So I set that up. I actually got everything set up.
Here?
Had the, here. I had the hotels, had the sports, had the venues, had so much. And the thing that screwed me was insurance.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get insurance.
For the athletes.
For the kids. Yeah. Because it was all for kids. Yeah. I couldn't get any insurance. I tried multiple places. They were like, it's not going to work. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, got everything set. Everything's ready to go.
Shit.
Couldn't find that. And they were like, well, you're ever going to do it and you just hope nothing's going to happen. I was like, man, come on. Something always going to happen.
Especially with kids. How old were they supposed to be?
You're looking from the age of 12 to 18. So something's going to happen. I was like, and I worked for over a year on that one. That was the first thing. I was over a year on that one, and that one screwed me. And then I got really big into movement. I don't know if you know Ido Tao.
No.
He was Conor McGregor's movement coach.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I got massive into him. I just fell into his like cult in a way. I was like, right, I want to be a movement coach.
Yeah.
I want to teach movement. I want to fly around the world teaching workshops, all this stuff, and work for myself in that way. So that was a big thing. And I spent too long on that.
Yeah.
I spent like 5 years trying to do that.
Really?
Because obviously you have to get good at movement, right? Do like handstands and one arm chin ups and become really flexible. And
so that's, I was going to say, what is a movement called? Like,
it could be, you could define it in many ways, but yeah, get a really good move, super strong.
Yeah.
Body weight strong, mobile, flexible, all this stuff. So I was like, right, that's what I'm going to be.
Nice.
So I spent like 5 years on this and I kept getting injured. I kept getting injured for multiple reasons. And after like 5 years, I was like, it's not going to work.
Fuck.
Yeah. So after 5 years, they're like, okay, what's the next thing? What can I do outside of the coaching? And that led to starting YouTube, for example. Yeah.
And that's where we are right now?
Pretty much. Yeah. And we're the ball's rolling now. The ball's rolling. Momentum's starting. So yeah.
Well, then tell us a little bit about the YouTube, because obviously that's also one of the questions. We were talking about it, obviously. So I took a look at your YouTube channel, which you never gave me at the training. Yeah. And you said it's a small channel. It's not so small.
It's pretty small.
It's almost 10K subscribers there. Some videos go 250K views. So I'll call it viral at some point. Yeah, it's interesting. So maybe if that's the next milestone in your timeline, like what's the YouTube channel about? You're also collaborating with Iman, right? Yeah. So what's it all about?
So during that period of trying to be a movement guy, I was also had other interests, and my wife's a psychologist, for example. She kicked off this, like, so psychology, and then like spirituality or whatever it was, like general like self-improvement, I guess you could call it. So I was always trying to podcast on the drives. Like I would drive to Limassol, 1 hour back, 1 hour there and back and stuff, and lift to this stuff. So I had multiple interests. And then when I finished with realized that I'm not going to be a movement guy. Okay, let's go into YouTube. I've got these, I like talking about a few things, certain topics. Let's go into that. Let's dive into that. I don't know if you heard of like the manosphere.
No.
Heard of that? So the manosphere essentially is like Andro Tate.
Yeah.
Right? That's where he was derived from.
Oh, okay. Like he was in there?
Yeah. That's essentially where he came from. Like and talking about like masculinity and stuff like that. So
that's interesting.
That was a big thing for me at the time. So I started YouTube about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And after 2 years, I had like 800 subscribers. Yeah. This is not going well. This is crap. I had a long-term goal, so I wasn't too worried about it. And then the thing was niche down, blah, blah, blah. So I decided, right, okay, this thing that I'm doing for 2 years, I'm going to go into fitness. That's my main. And then I have this other channel where I can talk about this other stuff that I want to talk about. So I started this second channel, and within a few months...
The unfiltered.
The unfiltered one. That's when it kicked off.
Crazy.
Just a few months of that one. That video on Hamza blew up. And it started kicking off. And it's in that sort of self-improvement, manosphere, sort of sphere a little bit, like talking about those type of topics. Yeah. And that's been the goal. So I'm focused on that. I'm working with the two channels. I want that to be the fitness niche.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw.
So it takes a bit of pressure off, but like either one is not too much pressure on the other, and you've got a bit of focus. But I would say the main one right now, the unfiltered one, that's the most popular. So
that has some very viral videos in there.
There's a few that done all right. Yeah.
And how do you pick your topics there? I watched a couple of videos. Obviously, it has a Andro Tate vibe, which I really like.
A little bit. I'm not a fan of Tate anymore.
You're not. Why not? Anymore,
mate. I was watching him for way before he blew up, so he was there. It's interesting because he's.
So you knew him before he was that.
Yeah, because I saw his brother on Twitter.
Yeah,
I was like,
Tristan.
Yeah, Tristan. He looked like 20,000. I was like, I recognize this guy. Where do I recognize this guy? I know I've seen this guy before. Where do I recognize him? And then you get onto Andrew and blah blah blah, and then they are watching a podcast that they did together, and they're talking about growing up in Luton. I was like, I'm from Luton. I'm essentially from Luton. Yeah? So I was like, no, I've seen the guy. I've seen Tristan out.
Really?
I've seen him out and about. That's where I knew that I recognized him.
Really?
So I followed him for a little while. And then I was like, you know what, these guys are assholes. These guys are like, it's no good. And then COVID hits. And Andrew's talking about a few things with regards to COVID and stuff. And I was agreeing with, so I started following him. And then you see him just go viral, like crazy, man.
Yeah,
you just
so
see him go
fast.
viral. It was like so weird
to
see it. Because I never thought someone like that could go as.
So he's from the same place where you were?
Yeah, I'm technically I'm from Dunstable, but I was literally I was 5-10 minutes drive from Luton Airport, which is basically essentially where you see it from. Yeah, and I remember it, seeing it, like his brother Tristan out and about. That's where it clicked. I was like, that's where I've seen it. Yeah. But so not the best place in the world, but like I said, I was following him. I was a fan. I was agreeing with a lot of what he said. And then you dive into his whole case and everything else. Yeah, I think the guy deserves to go to prison. Put it that way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I don't think he's the best guy in the world, but really. And some of his messaging is a bit.
Yeah, very controversial. That's why he is there where he is, right?
Yeah, of course. If you polarize, right, you're gonna get more eyeballs on you.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a battle you always have to play, especially on YouTube. You're like, do I want to? It starts with like titles, right? Yeah. Titles of videos and stuff, and you play that game. Do you want to play that game? Yeah. Sometimes you feel comfortable with it, sometimes you don't. Yeah. But that's how he got there. Yeah.
That's super interesting. But you were following him for quite some time till some scandals came out that we all know of. Or?
Yeah, and I believed him, right? He said, like, there's no evidence in the files. I've not done anything wrong. And if you actually look into it and you see his case file is online. Yeah, man, the guy's guilty as hell, man. The guy's guilty as hell. Like, I'm sure he's going away for quite a long time. Yeah. Shit. Yeah, he's done some nasty things, man. Yeah. And so, and then I battled. Has he been a net positive? For the young men today? Yeah. Or a net negative?
What do you think?
Yes, generally, just in the message of like
for especially for young men,
guys, just about. Yeah. But there comes a point like you take a lot of his messaging, work hard. Yeah. Make some money. Yeah. Blah blah blah. A lot of that stuff, stuff with regards to women. But then very very quickly, if you take too much of his word as gospel, you can definitely tilt over into the negative. And that can happen quite quickly.
It's a small balance between, because I also agree to a lot of things he says. Definitely, I'm not agreeing to everything, but about masculinity and how men should act in general. I agree to that. Work hard, as you say. Make money. Don't be a pussy. Stop looking for excuses and all that shit. Tough up, like do some sports, do fighting. I like that, right? Definitely. So take care of yourself. Of course, some comments about women do not need to agree on, but also he has some positive comments about women, which I definitely agree with. When it comes to providing for women, he has a very old school traditional picture of living together or something like that, something that I share. But of course, whatever. I don't know, a controversial person, but he was a good fighter. He was a good fighter. He was in kickboxing, although he never really fought good guys. Now, after a while, it's amazing to see how quickly viral you can get. So there's a lot. There's no coincidences. He had a good plan. There were, of course, you need to be lucky here and then, but. Interesting to see that guy.
That was weird to see. I started following him at like 60K, and then all of a sudden he's everywhere. Everywhere, like within a few months. It's like this is weird to see, because we always felt like within that sphere, red pill, sphere, like this can't go mainstream. Like it's impossible.
But it went,
and then he went, and then it's like, what the hell is this? This is crazy. But then it polluted the whole. The whole space.
Completely. He's the number one person on the planet.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, one stage, right? One cool guy. Yeah.
That's amazing. And now the Iman Gadzhi, like what's that all about?
Yeah, so Eman's, again, he's another massive name within that industry. Young guy, 24, like worth like 100 million, whatever it is. And very much, it's like more on the business side of things. But yeah, he's held in that same name, you know, of like Tate's, and he's up there. And I had that video with Hamza, and after a couple of months, you know, channel's growing, I was at like 6,000 or something. And I get this message on Instagram, and I'm coaching at the time, from some guy with, you know, 300 followers. It's like, "Hi, I'm Eman's manager. Eman wants to talk to you. Give me your details." I'm like, oh, obviously a scam. And since that first video blew up, I had multiple people trying to scam me. Like, they're trying to send me some dodgy link. So I read this, like, I showed it to the guys I'm coaching. I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. So I waited, and I had the same message from a different account on Instagram. And it was a 1 million follower account, and it was the official Reels account from Iman. And I was like,
that looks real.
Okay. It's still in my mind. I was like, I don't know. I still had in my mind maybe a scam. I don't know, because I just thought the chances are so slim. So I was like, listen, I don't think you have anything to do with Iman. I think you're trying to scam me or whatever. He's like, no. Like, Iman wants to talk to you. Give me your number. Like, yeah, of course you want my number. You want to hack my phone or something. I don't know. And he's like, give me your email. No. Don't give me email. I said, look, if Iman wants to talk to me, he sends me a message on Instagram. Yeah. And so that's what he did. Wait, like really, 2 minutes in the main guy sends me a message on Instagram. I'm like, oh, okay.
Crazy.
So it's not a scam.
Fuck. Yeah.
And then, to cut a long story short, so the guy was like, yeah, look, I've been watching your videos and stuff, really like him. He has an online community called Digital Launchpad. Yeah. It's like 15,000 people in there. Yeah. And he was just like, look, I like a lot what you talk about, and I just want you to come in and do some coaching. There's a couple of coaching calls a week, and you can talk about what you talk about. His demographic's quite young. Yeah. You know, like teenagers, early 20s, they're people that want to become entrepreneurs, start making money online. And you can come in with like more of a holistic vibe and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 months. Cool. Yeah, a couple of calls a week. And yeah, it's going really well, man.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I checked him out. I didn't know him before, but he has, was like 100 million or something like that.
Yeah, apparently it's worth 100 million.
Yeah. He was a really big fish. Crazy. Yeah. Have you met him personally?
No, we haven't met. We had a call. We had a FaceTime and stuff. It was like 20-minute stuff.
Nice. Yeah.
No, I haven't met him.
And how do the coaching sessions work? Like
just two coaching sessions a week. 1 hour a week. Yeah. I come in with a topic. 10, 15, 20-minute topic, what I want to talk about. There's usually like 50, 60 guys in there. And they listen to the topic. We go Q&As, stuff like that. And it's a month-to-month basis. So they after every month, they assess, they want to keep me on. There's been a lot of churn on the coaches. There's hardly any of the coaches that I started with. They're still in there. But
really,
so it's not going to be a long-term thing. It's not something I rely on, but...
It helps. Definitely helps.
Yeah, it's experience, promoting. Experience, put that on there, you know, put that to your name online on YouTube. I'm waiting to drop the video to talk about it. Waiting to get confirmation from the main man and go from there.
Yeah, well, that's gonna help for the YouTube channel. 100%.
Hope so.
Oh, 100%. Hope so. I mean, he has a big community. Then you're gonna benefit from that, and then you can build up on that. Yeah. What's the goal for you with your YouTube?
Ideally, I mean, I'm starting to do a couple of programs. I actually want to release a program with the video talking about collaboration with Iman, but those are programs. I've debated going back. I don't know your opinion on this one. Going back between like programs or community. Online community is a big thing right now. Yeah. Thing is, with community, it looks like to me it only really works as a proper business, full-time business, if you've got a really big audience.
Yeah, well,
and you can dedicate a lot of time to it. Yeah. So I think the stepping stone is probably something like one-to-one coaching or programs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would definitely vote for one-to-one at the beginning. Yeah. Because first of all, you can charge higher prices. It's one-to-one. You don't need as many clients, leads at the end because obviously you have higher prices. You're building your community by doing that. So the community is how I did it, or how I'm doing it. It comes after, right? So first you start with one-to-one coaching. you're also adjusting the offering that you have, the whole coaching behind. With every client you're getting better, you can charge maybe higher prices, you can just improve everything around that. And then by doing that, at some point you have 10-20 people. You started, then you're starting adding a community. And community, as you do with Imran, you can start like live sessions during the week with dedicated topics, and then you can also aim for getting more people in the community for a different coaching program. So you have different kind of programs, different kind of offerings for different kind of target audiences. And then it's building up. But I think starting off 100% always with one-to-one coaching. It's easier. It's easier.
That was my thought, because I've seen so many guys in and around the numbers that I have on YouTube, and they're starting the school thing. It's like become a thing now. It's almost like a meme. Like school. Have you heard of school?
School. I was going to say school.
It's like a thing with Alex Hormones. He's promoting it. And people are getting in like, okay, you get 10, 30 people in. Then people leave really quick. And then you're left with like 5 people.
And then you're not going to pay a lot of money for community. It's like, that's more a subscription model, right? So you're not going to pay 5 digits or whatever for a subscription. So it's mass. You need to have a lot, or you have to have quantity behind that. And it works at some point, but you have to build this audience first. Because that's also how it worked best for us all the time. Just really go with the one-to-one coaching, and then add up a different kind of offering. You can digitalize it. You can create a video course out of it. First, you do it just by doing it one-to-one, and then by doing it, you actually create the offering by doing it. That's the nice thing. And then you put it into a new offering, a new program, and you can sell it more on a quantitatively side.
And the other thing with the community thing is, if you want to make it really good, you got to be in there a lot. Like you got to spend a lot of time on it, like crazy amount of time. And some on the flip side, a lot of people want to start online businesses and stuff because they want more free time. As you know, I've spoken a little bit about it. There's no free time. There's no switching off and that when I actually watched that podcast, I think it was with the with the foodie guy? I think it was with the foodie
Michael
guy.
Yeah.
You were talking about, and it made me a little bit appreciate, the general like 9 to 5, like, oh shit, there's actually quite a lot more benefits.
It is. Like,
you can switch. You finish at 5, you're done. Switch off. Have your weekend, switch off. Holidays, no problem. But entrepreneurial route is
always.
You're always on, man. You like switch off.
You're always on. I think a lot of people underestimate that. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of pros. Don't get me wrong, but I sometimes miss really the time that I can shut my brain off. Like, I know already, like, I'm getting a daughter in 2-3 weeks. Like, of course I'm gonna take time off, but I'm not taking time off at the same point. Like, of course I'm not gonna sit in meetings for the first couple of weeks or but still I need to work. Like, in my mind, people need to get paid, clients need to get supported, invoices need to get paid. It's like all this thing is not gonna stop. So you're never off, right? Even now we had people here for the last weeks and months. Everybody's on vacation, and most of them were 9-to-5ers, right? And it's nothing bad about it. You could really see, they forgot everything. What's work, right? And you could see it in the mind. Like, I was jealous even sometimes. Like, and you're sitting there, you take time off, you do these things. But anyway, looking at the phone, checking, you're sitting out there till 11 or something. I still go up, at least do the most necessary things, reaching out to clients or whatever, for another hour or so. So you're never off. It's, of course, a lot of advantages, but something people don't really see a lot of times.
It's something, when I watched that one, I was like, that appreciation. And then ask the question, like, okay, so then is that what you really want?
That's something that...
It's like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it as a...
It's both good. I don't think there's a black or white, right or wrong path. I think some people are super good where they are with a 9-to-5. Some people are not born to be an entrepreneur, and it's very difficult to define what an entrepreneur actually is. It took me a lot of time to figure it out. But it's you're growing with the journey, right? It's nothing that tomorrow I'm an entrepreneur. So but you will make a lot of sacrifices. If I look back the last 10 years or more, there's a lot of sacrifices I made, like vacations I never took, right? Of course, now I can fly wherever I want, but that back then, you can't get the time back. So that's something that you need to be aware of. You're not gonna. It's not the first rate, as you said. You're now, starting a business. Yeah, the goal is to work less, but you will not work less at the beginning. It's funny because some clients that start working with us, who are maybe freelancers and want to start a business, they have this like, but it sounds like a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Really? Mm. Yeah, it's a lot of work. You don't even know how lot of work. Yeah, but I still have I need to do my project work. Like that's what when I should do this. Like I don't have time. Well, how much time do you spend on your project? 8 hours. Oh, perfect. You have 16, right? Sleep 4, and you have enough. It's like that's the reality. So that's I really try to tell, especially the clients who come. It's not just this glorious ride, everything. It can be, and it will be if you do it right, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work behind.
Especially obviously more you want to scale. People just want to scale. It's natural instinct. I've seen a couple of guys in the space, in the influence space or YouTube space, and there's a sweet spot they hit. They didn't realize they were in the sweet spot.
That's interesting.
They're like, they can literally, if they want, just go do what they want, and they do it, and there's no problem.
And then they scale.
They're going to get passive. But they scale. They're like, I just want to go next level. And then after like a year or so, they're like, shit, I'm working so much. I'm working so much, but
that's
now
super interesting. That's the same in the IT. You hit a sweet spot, as you say. You have a small team, you have good customers, you make decent money. It's a good balance. Then the scaling starts. You hire more people. Everything is messy, right? The quality of work goes down. The client, so you make less money. That's what happens a lot of times. At the beginning, also happened in my businesses, right? I was growing, making less, and at some point, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Right? Why am I doing this? And then understood what went wrong, and that's what I'm trying to teach my clients. If they're scaling, I mean, everybody wants to scale, but let's build a business first, because you can't scale something if you don't have a business. But the clients who have a business scaling, it's quite easy if they already have a working business. There's only some variables that you need to really point out to, and then the whole ship can take off. But that's interesting. It's everywhere the same. Everywhere the same. And it's also interesting because all other podcast guests so far, if I'm now reminiscing of what they said, the same story all the time, right? Starting off, had the same problems, the same goals. It's super interesting.
So it's like obviously I feel like I'm just getting started. Just balls getting rolling. So I'm already trying to think of those things and try, like what's that saying? Smart man learns from his mistakes. Wise man learns from mistakes of others.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to take that in. I can.
Yeah, that's smart.
At the end of the day, you're only really going to know it as you go along. And
you can plan, you can learn a lot. I mean, some pitfalls you don't need to, you don't need to take or make the same mistakes. But at some things, like, you need to experience yourself. It's like a lot of people can tell you what's going to happen or might happen, or don't do this, don't do that. But some things you need to experience, but not all of them. Learn from others' mistakes is definitely a lot smarter.
Do you have an end goal? Do you have like a okay, this is where I want to go, and I want to hit this point, and then I'm done. I'm going to cash out, sell, whatever it is, and then just see you later.
Yeah, that's a good question. That was my goal before with my businesses. I wanted to do the exit at some point. That's where I worked for like the last over 10 years, I would say. Then I exited, cashed out, and then I was struggling. I was struggling. Like I took some time off, and I felt like something is not right. It's like I need to do something. It's not like I'm addicted to, I need to spend 20 hours a day, but you need to have a goal. Like that really, because I'm already doing everything. Like back then I was already here. So what kind of goals did I always have? build a company, sell it, you live on a dream island at the beach. I had it, like family there.
Yeah.
So what comes next? So then I was struggling with that question, and then how it came to the coaching or mentoring business was, I was thinking of what was the most positive effect that I always had on people, or like I was talking with friends, with completely strangers, how they were perceiving, and the first idea was build a business again that I was selling. I was like, what the fuck was that? Makes no sense. And I didn't want to do it. It was so much stress. So then I was thinking, okay, you were talking, and then I understood I was helping a lot of entrepreneurs already along the way when I was scaling my businesses. I said that was fun. So I was thinking I'll do this. Like, of course, there was a timeline in between of how to get there, but I said let's dive deep into this. So I started off with a couple of clients, and then I understood, fuck, this is a lot of fun, and it's not a lot of I don't have to put as much time into it, and I wanted to find a business model that really allows to have a good balance, because before it was fucking a lot of work. I was like 60 hours, 80-hour weeks. Yeah. The bigger you got, it was different work. We had roughly 100 people at the end over various countries. So that was, I felt like a big kindergarten at some point. All I did was managing problems from people. Like, it had barely nothing to do with the work. And it was emotionally also because you got backstabbed from people, things were taken away, and all kinds of shit happened. But yeah, and then I thought this is gonna be a cool business model, how to help people like in the same, basically walk the same path that I was walking, and that worked pretty well. Kind of took off pretty quickly, and built a great team, and now all I have to do now is really helping the one-to-one clients, because everything else is outsourced or automated, and that's a good balance. And where it should go, I want to make it bigger. I think it's similar to what you are saying. I want to be way more visible and heard in the outside, not only in Cyprus but also in Germany and Europe. So I'm gonna for next year, one of the goals is be on bigger stages, like Reflect Festival we had here in Cyprus. I'm definitely gonna be on the stage. Some bigger IT event, like events in Germany. That's my goal, where thousands of people are in the audience. So that's something that I want to do, because I know I have much to say and much to teach to people. But you need to get there. So also step for step. So I don't have a goal in mind in terms of numbers. I want to help as much people as possible, as many people as possible.
So it's interesting. Like a couple of things got in mind. So it sounds like you're actually very content, doing this now. Yeah. But you had that point of where you sold the business, you exited, and then you had this point of reflection. Yeah. And I did this in one of the calls on Eman's community recently. It's like, I think some of the most, that story of like multimillionaires seemingly have everything and they're like unhappy, and why they're unhappy. I think one of the big reasons is they jump from one thing to the next too much. Don't have that time of reflection. Yeah. It's just like, right, because they think that's the next box to tick. Yeah. And it's not really what they want to do. Yeah. And one of the keys is spread that time out. When you achieve something, reflect. Yeah. Time to the next thing. Yeah. Because then the next thing, after you reflect, you're going to be much more clear on what you actually really want to do, right? And it sounds like you took that time, you had that reflection period where it's like, I think some of the worst, not the worst things, obviously not the worst thing, but it's a big shame when seemingly someone has it all and they're like, oh, I'm miserable, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
happens a lot. I've seen it with some people. Definitely also went a similar path, kind of went depression mode afterwards, like, because it was in one of the podcasts, I think also with the foodie founder, with Michael, is like you get addicted to this kind of things, like the dopamine, like selling something, and you get addicted to this shit, and it's true. You get addicted to solving problems and everything. So once that is taken away, and I think that's also sometimes it's the same feeling when you worked your whole life and you're getting retired. You see a lot of, like, especially men, like not coping so well with that, right?
Yeah,
I can totally understand it. It's like, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You don't have this goal anymore. It's not so easy if as everybody thinks like,
Have you seen
hey, now you're just enjoying life. Yeah.
Have you seen the death rates after like retirement? Have you seen
No.
those? Like within, God, what is it? I can't remember the exact stats. So the death rate within 3 years of retirement.
Yeah.
It's like super high.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, people retire and they're like, oh, fuck, waste of space now.
Shit.
And that's it.
So never
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, it's a human condition. You need you need a purpose.
You
man.
need a purpose.
You need a purpose.
Yeah.
You need something to work towards. 100%. All the
Yeah,
time.
you're not made for just sitting at home. I mean, it's nice to relax and everything, but you need to have something to work for or work on, a purpose, as you say.
Yeah.
I agree.
But ideally, the right thing.
Ideally, the right thing. Yeah.
I think a lot of people get trapped in
You're
what they
doing
think
the
it should
right
be doing,
thing. Yeah.
or like you said, the addiction.
Yeah.
Like it's like a game.
Yeah,
Business
it's
is a game,
it's
right?
like a game.
Game, level up, numbers,
Yeah.
more. And then one day they sit there like, oh, what?
Yeah.
what
No, I
is
mean,
this
it's
fulfilling me?
if you hit your purpose and you like what you're doing, I mean, that's a gold mine. If you're good at it, you like it, then it's a lot of fun. I don't always recommend, like if some people are asking me, is like, do I need to make my passion to my business? It's not going to work in all cases. Back then, do you think like doing IT consulting was my biggest passion? Fuck no. But I paid the bills. My passion, I would have not mind being a hockey player or something like that, or whatever kind. Yeah. So that thing's like something, sometimes you need to go, but as you said, reflect about, if you have the chance, reflect about, or reflect after certain stages in life. I think that's not a bad idea, because you have these milestones in your life as well. You hit the 20s, you hit the 30s. I mean, can't just go forward and then you're 60, 70.
And you change, right?
Yeah,
you're
you
a different
change
person
completely.
At 20.
I mean,
different. It's kind of the same goal at 20 and 30. And
20?
If I had the same goal at 20, I don't know what I'll be doing right now.
I'll be partying. I'd be partying.
Yeah, exactly, man. You can't do it. Yeah, you change.
Very much. Yeah, it's even 30, 35 is a big difference already.
And then you get into being a father, and that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
that's it changes everything. But it's good, right? If everything was, if we were 20, I mean, fuck, I don't know. I'd not be sitting here if I doing that was rough.
No way, we would still be here. Prison or prison or dead. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, one of the other. Pretty lucky, yeah. But it's that's how life is, yeah. So now the plan for you is to grow the channel.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Main thing, grow a channel. Obviously, like at the minute, just a couple of things. Like I said, release a couple of programs and bundle stuff.
It's really
gradually,
good.
like bring them out. Multiple things, got multiple ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
Fitness channel and this, as it goes along, see how that goes. But yeah, the main focus is grow it.
So if the viewers would want to find out what is the coaching or what coaching will be about, so it's one time the fitness. What are the other topics that?
So the other channel, the specific, is fitness. The fitness side is actually more niche within the niche. Is the minimalist style training, like very minimalist, especially starts becoming a dad. You know, there's like how to get workouts in and like minimal time. You got 20 minutes in a day to train. Like how can you maximize that? Yeah. So I've actually done pretty well with that, and so that's kind of that side of things. But I'm not. That's not the main thing, you know. I'm just like a little pressure off, seeing how that goes. But the other side, the unfiltered channel, that's going to be more along the lines of like general self-improvement stuff, and more along that side type of lines. And
so like about relationships and everything.
Definitely in terms of relationships. So that's going to be the first program. It's got a relationship thing going on there. Not like how to make a relationship work, like a mindset of relationships. Like so. Big thing is people just, when they approach relationships, it's like no idea what goes into it. No idea the mindset you need, or let's just see how this goes. There's actually a crazy amount that goes into it if you want to be serious about a relationship or a marriage or whatever. So that's a big thing, especially because I don't know, the channel is, most of the views are geared towards that whole dynamic, right? Yeah. Especially the self-improvement thing. A lot of young guys there, and they just want to get
that's a big thing,
and get relationships, and so. Let's move towards that.
What self-improvement advices or whatever would be like a good example? What would you
for like a relationship?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, there's a few things like. I think one of the most important things is the idea of being okay with never meeting someone.
Yeah.
So if you not that you strive towards that, not that that's what you want or anything. It's just that you come to the idea that maybe I'll never meet anyone. Yeah. And I can accept it. Yeah. It's not what I want, but I can accept it. Yeah. Because a lot of people, if they can't accept it, and that's what a lot of people end up, and I've seen this many times, especially close friends, they get desperate. Yeah. They make bad decisions with the wrong person because they'd rather be with
a wrong person
than be alone. Because they can't be alone. They can't accept to be alone. So if you can be alone, so how do you become okay with the idea of being alone? You be okay with being alone. That's a great place to start with. But that's
interesting.
Then that dives into a whole other field of other things you need to do and ways you need to live and mindsets you need.
Oh, that's being able to be alone. I think who said that? Tom Hardy or something, like the actor. Mm-hmm. He was also said, if you master this skill to be able to be alone, there's nothing that can hit you.
Yeah, now you strike it. I think I've seen that clip from him.
And it's true, right? A lot of people struggle to be alone. Definitely.
So you want to be with, if you're with someone, you want to be with them, not need to be with them. I had that with even my relationship with my wife. So me and my wife, actually, we got engaged. About 6 months into engagement, we had a break. She was like, I need a break. And I was like in bits, man. I was like, what the fuck? We're getting married. Like, I was in bits. So I had to go. I moved out to a friend's house for a week and all this. Really, and I realized in that moment, oh my God, I'm too reliant on her. In a way. I just need her. I don't necessarily want, I need it. Like, I'm too insecure in this. I'm not securely attached in that way. And I had to reflect a lot, and not just in the week as we got back together and as the months went past. Now I'm at a point where, like, I love her more than ever, but I don't need her anymore. In this, and that might sound bad to some people, but it's the best thing. Like, I want her.
It's
definitely
that's what
you want. If you need someone, maybe you don't even want them. You just need them because you're so insecure and you don't want to be alone. But I know I'll be okay at being alone now.
It's interesting,
and that then builds a much better. Like, we have a much more.
I can imagine that
relationship with that.
Takes the pressure off.
100%.
Takes the pressure off.
I see it. So many young guys, man. I see it, and I talk to them online. They're so desperate, man. They're so desperate. They're just making bad decisions, and they're telling me I'm in this relationship and it's toxic and blah blah blah. And how can I change the relationship? It's like, you shouldn't even be in a relationship. That's not going to change. That person's not going to change. You can't change that person. You need to get out. That's terrifying to them. That's so terrifying because they haven't built that foundation.
I see it. Now you're saying it, Alan. I know a lot of people where I would say that doesn't work, or that doesn't seem to look so healthy as it is sometimes, right?
I actually think a majority of I like that.
I'm just thinking how it is here. Don't know. Good question. Good question.
I suppose you can never really know so much from the outside. Just a few people I know close. I know that's the case, and like I said, it was the case for me for a while.
That's interesting. It's interesting.
And that goes from there.
And that's a big. I think that you have a big leverage, especially on young guys, with topics like that, masculinity and everything. It's like self-improvement, so to say. I mean, that's a huge thing. You can help a lot of people with that. Because remembering back when I was a teenager, I think there's so many things messed up in my head of what's right, what you need to do, what's wrong. If back then we didn't have it, right? We didn't have that information. Now is the opposite, right? Now it's a little bit information overload. So really picking, I think now giving clarity about things like that, or perspectives of maybe not even telling them this is right, this is wrong, this is how it works for me, right? This is my perspective, and you have a big effect on people.
It's not so much the age of information; it's like misinformation.
Right?
So
the misinformation.
Filter through that, and I think I've realized this was purposeful as well. I was into the self-improvement thing, but the self-improvement is young man's game. You actually see it. Like, I feel cringy saying self-improvement. I'm 36 years of age because it's young man's game. A lot, young 20s, even teenagers.
Never stops.
But the guys that are the big names in that industry, they're young as well themselves. I saw it like, man, these guys are so young. They're giving advice that I know long term is not going to work out. So I've position myself in a way to be sort of more a little bit the older guy, a little bit the older head who is married and has kids and a little bit more experience.
A lot comes with experience, right?
Yeah.
You can't fake it.
Yeah.
You can't fake experience. That's not possible.
No.
Something you need to add some years of age. Otherwise, how you want to know?
Yeah.
It's the same if some 17-year-olds want to tell you how to build a business. Like, if you have done it, feel free to share. But if you haven't done it, fuck off. Like, but there's so many of it. It doesn't matter which kind of topics. So much bullshit out there. It's easy. And people still need. I mean, need to be a big demand for it because there's more and more and more, right? It's like we can feel it. I mean, we have that almost daily. It's like, is this real? Like, you guys real scammers? There's no problem. Talk to some clients, then it's solved. But you hear it a lot. What the fuck is this? Like, coaching? Nah. Bad. Very negative against coaching.
That's definitely.
That's a big thing. It's like, I always try to tell you're gonna start playing tennis without a coach, like, or going to, I don't know, whatever, football. But in other perspectives or in other areas in life, it's a little bit different. Like, especially in business coaches is like in Germany and everything like that. It's very negative. It's very weird. I don't know. Like, do it myself. It's better.
Trust is that. I think there's been a lot of people that have destroyed the reputations.
I can understand
of
it.
People, right? So people are very apprehensive towards it. And just
I can understand that. It's happening. But that's why. I mean, but with the self-improvement and everything's like these type of things, there's also so many people who claim to do it. But if you give some clarity about these type of topics, I think that's it's a good way to go. I know I'd be listening, or I was needing things like that when I was in a younger age, for sure.
And I touched on it earlier. It's sometimes it's a tricky game, right? You know what can get you views. Let's say online, you could go, you're going to get more views if you put this title or talk about this topic, and you battle with that initially, but I've become okay with, look, I just do what I'm going to do. I don't want to trick anyone. I don't want to do any of that bullshit, and play those games and just see how it plays out. Probably a longer game though. Yeah. So a little bit more patience.
It's not that bad. Patience is a strong skill set as well. Being patient.
Time's going to pass anyway, right?
Definitely. No rush. So many years to come in every aspect.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll just coach you and.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But we're on holidays right now. So yesterday was Tuesday. It's like.
Oh yeah, I was going
to what am I doing? I actually booked the court yesterday with a friend. I forgot about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't tell them I'm not coming.
Oh shit.
Yeah, whatever.
They're okay with that stuff.
Yeah, they're fine. So now you're on vacation, right? It's August, so
yeah.
You're going to the mountains.
Couple of weeks, go for the mountains, a few days with the kiddos. Try to man, there's no such thing as rest when you have kids, huh?
Yeah.
Not resting. Like, I've had 3 days and I'm joking with my missus. I'll go back to work. Feel like getting more of a mental rest, like just spending all day trying to keep them alive, which is stressful, but they need the physical rest, right? Because tennis coaching, it's not.
Well, you're sitting there the whole day sometimes, right?
It's a good job. It is a very good job, but it's that weird mix of physical and mental. Yeah. And most jobs are really physical, like building site, whatever, or mental, and you're on the computer and laptop. Tennis is like it's a weird mix. Yeah. On your feet. 6-7 hours in a row, non-stop,
and it's
running around, hot in Cyprus.
Hot as hell. Oh.
And then you're thinking about how to improve someone's game. You're thinking about their psychology, how to talk to them, discipline with kids.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Man, it's not the people don't appreciate it in that regard, but it can be hard. I mean, you're toast. At the end of the day, you're toast.
Oh, definitely
toast.
I believe that.
Yeah. But it's good. Got some rewards.
Yeah. No, it's definitely fun. I like coming. I was playing, as I said before, in Pavolia, Hero Doughty.
You said it.
I had a similar, I would say, stylish coach. There was a Polish guy who went back to Poland, and I don't know why, to be honest. Now he's doing some Polish ATP.
They rinse people here in Cyprus.
Yeah.
Man.
He didn't. He was living.
They rinse people for the price. They pay cheap over here. Coaches, you know, it's not good the way.
That was a problem for him. Yeah,
it's not good, man.
Yeah.
Not good.
So, where to find you? How's the YouTube channels? We're of course linking it under the video, but where to find you? Where to find Ryan?
So just go at the moment. Just focus on YouTube. So go Ryan Horgan. Two channels. Ryan Horgan is one, and Ryan Horgan Unfiltered. That's the more popular one. Yeah. I'm gonna look into diving into more Instagram, but
stay with one.
Stick with one for now. Build it up a little bit more. Stick with one. So that's how you find me on YouTube. Yeah.
So I'm gonna link that under the video for sure. Anything else that you have on your mind that you want to share?
I think it's all good. With anything else, we'll go for a round 2 in future dates.
We'll do that. I'll be here for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. Thanks, man, for the great podcast. It was a pleasure. Guys, if you are looking for a good tennis coach or a coach for any kind of, how did you call it?
Minimalist training?
Yeah, minimalist training. Or any topics about self-improvement. You just heard Ryan is the man to go. You can click on the link under the video to reach out to him. If you need some business coaching, scaling your IT consulting business, you can contact us. And if you want to play tennis, contact us too. That will also be fun. I think we can wrap things up and go for lunch, guys. Thanks, Ryan.
Enjoyed it. Cheers, Patrick. Thanks, man.
And was that the whole time?
No, just now. Literally just now. The timing of that was unbelievable.